Hi guys, this is Karen Sassine with Mosaic Mentoring, and I am working on a pendant. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit about what I was working on. So let me get to it. I'm going to put my phone in my little crate. There we go. Okay. All right. So what I'm doing is working side by side. I use two pendants, one to work in, and then I transfer it. Now I do this when I'm working really itty bitty, because I don't know, it's my method. So what I did was I took this Inksall marker. These are my favorites. I like them over Sharpies. It's a sharper point. And I drew my sun in the pendant blank, and then I started making the pieces. So let me just show you. I'm going to take one of these out and you can see. See, I've got my stuff underneath the black markings. So hold on, let me just make sure that this is working properly. Okay, I'm going to turn the light on so you guys can see a little bit better. So this is Denwar glazed ceramic tiles, and it's from Costa Mesa, California, back in, gosh, 40s, 50s, that era. And it's a double-sided glazed tile. Most of the tiles that I have are double-sided. I'm going to show you an example. This is some of the tiles that I have. I've got a large collection of it that I got years ago, and I love working with them, especially like this one. You can see that's got some copper on the back. There's a lot of crazing, which is the crackle, and it's just beautiful to work with. It's hard to work with, though, because it's double-sided. I don't want to waste the opposite side. So I'm going to show you how I cut it. Now, obviously, this doesn't really pertain to most people because Denwar is something that you just can't get anymore. But I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing, and then I'll show you a little bit about the detail on how I work so little. So what I do is I take a piece and I cut about, just depending, sometimes thicker, sometimes thinner, about that width. So what I'm working on is trying to get both sides. Now, if I tried cutting this right now, it would end up breaking because it's got the side. I've just learned this over practice. So I take the end and I cut that off. And then I'm going to pop it. So I line up. There's this one little weak spot smack dab in the center. And sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't. There we go, and it worked. So now I've got two pieces to work with. And here's how I'm going to create these little pieces. And I'm going to put this up a little bit higher so you guys can see how small these really are. So the next piece I'm working on is this larger piece right here. So the question is, how do I get it the right shape? And what I do is I take this piece that's a little bit bigger. I'm going to actually use this one because I've already started working on it. And I lay it over and I kind of get my head directly up over the top of it. And I start to visualize the angles. Now, a lot of times I'll use my marker because I can draw on this and it comes right off. You just wipe it off. So I started by taking one of these and I ground down the edge to give it a straight edge. So, and I've got a foot pedal on my grinder. I love the foot pedals. Got it on Amazon. This is the Gryphette grinder by Griffin Corporation. Love it because it has an itty bitty footprint. So, by the way, when I'm working overhead, I can't answer questions, so I'll go back in a little bit and I'll answer all the questions, and I'll make sure that I answer them in the post. So I start with this one straight edge. So now I'm going to pick this back up, and now I'm lining up. Let me make sure you can see this. Let's see. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to put my head over it, and I'm going to visualize what the shape of this looks like. So I see that it's got a little rounded edge right here. So I'm going to round that down. And now I'm going to draw this angle. And then we know that this is a straight line. So let's see if we've got that angle right. A little bit more. All right. And then I know that it goes to that corner. So what I'm going to do is grind that down. So see, I just take it and wipe off the marker. It's great. Comes straight off. Works on glass too. Sometimes you'll find that the ink doesn't stay with a Sharpie. That's one of the things I like about the Inksol is I find that you get a better adhesion, yet it still comes off. All right, so my angle's not quite right. Keep working at it. Now, if it doesn't pop perfectly straight on the side, I can actually take it and grind the back of it thinner. I find that the inside of this, the bisque, does tend to gunk up the grinder and you have to clean it more often. All right, so the next thing I'm looking at is the width on the bottom. So that the width that matches this piece right here. So I'm actually, normally I don't make a mark because I'm pretty good at visualizing at this point. I've been doing it for a long time. But I'm going to make a mark just to show you guys. And obviously when you're first starting out, it helps to have those marks. So I know I'm going up to this corner right here, and there's my line. So what I'm going to do is create a line going from one side. And I keep the piece moving along the grinder. I don't want to push too hard. I don't want to crack the piece. Since I can't get this stuff anymore, I'm really careful with it. I don't like to break pieces. Another thing I keep by my grinder is I always keep a wet paper towel. The advantage of that is grinding leaves this little film, like a little dust film, and I just find that I like to clean off my piece after I grind it. So now I'm going to see how far off I am. So I'm a little bit long. The shape is right. I'm going to keep the height at the top, and I'm going to go a little bit shorter from the bottom. I might need to, since I'm cutting the length down from the bottom, I might need to go a little bit more narrow. We'll see. So I'm pretty close. It's not quite sitting in. I could see right here on the side where it's just a teeny bit too wide. Not much. So just a little bit. Let me see if it, there we go. So I'll just keep working, work my way up. I'll do the next piece down in the bottom, then that piece. So 1, 2, this piece right here. Let's see if I can. If I end up doing one piece, I waste a whole large slice. So I'm going to do this one also in 2 pieces. So I'll probably start with something like this and do this itty bitty triangle. So let me just do one of those just to show you how I work so small using the grinder. You got to be careful of your nails. The grinder will get your nails. Sometimes I even use my tweezers to hold a piece. The grinder's not going to hurt your finger, so a lot of times my finger will be right up against the grinder. You know, I don't keep it there for too long. And the nice thing with the pedal is I can go fast and slow. So if I just tap it lightly, it'll grind without grinding too much. Working my way down to a really teeny tiny point. And it's hard to get a straight line when you're working this small because if I push against the grinder, it's going to get an angle, the shape of the grinder. So let's see, almost done. Oh, they can get away from you. There we go. Nope, still a little wide. Feel free to ask questions. Like I said, I'll get to them as soon as I finish working and can see the screen. Couple things, the pendant bases, they do not exist anymore. It's part of my collection that I've had for years. So don't ask me where you can get them, because you can't. And same with the tiles. But you can get a lot of wonderful pendants online. Look up pendant blanks. Deep weld pendant blank is usually my favorite go-to word to find pendant blanks. All right, and I'm going to use epoxy sculpt when I'm finished. And then what I'll do is transfer. I'll put the epoxy sculpt in this one, and then I'll just transfer piece by piece. I don't want to do the epoxy sculpt now because these take so long to do. Oh, look at this, I dropped it. They take so long to do that if I went ahead and mixed the epoxy sculpt now, it would dry out. So let me show you guys. This is what happens when you drop a piece in, when you work little. There we go. Almost done with this piece. Doing these little picture pendants is like doing micro mosaics. It's crazy. They're so teeny tiny, but they're fun. I like to do them. I like working precise. I like working little. There we go. I could probably stand to go a teeny bit thinner. Let me do that. Just a touch. I want it to fit in there super snug. Now another thing that I'll do is I'll angle the top of it. I don't want a straight line on it, so I'm going to angle it. Still just a teeny bit more. I see this slight curve to this piece. All right, if you guys can see that, that is one itty bitty teeny tiny piece, but it's a perfect fit. There we go, all the way down. So bit by bit, it's coming along. All right, let me clean my hands and see if you guys have questions. Whoops, sorry. See if you guys have questions. Let's see. No. All right. Enjoy. You guys have a great day. Take care. By the way, all of these videos are kept in the announcements. Here, let me turn this off. I have a shadow. All these videos are kept in the announcements, and I also keep them on my YouTube channel, Mosaic Mentoring. Take care.